In Ansible, you can use loops in order to avoid writing the same task many times in the same playbook. Instead of writing the same task and only changing the variable, you can use the loop keyword in order to iterate through a list or variables. Let's now examine how loops are implemented in Ansible. For that reason, I have created the implemented loops playbook, which we will examine right now. As you can see, in this playbook, we have only one play, this one, and in this play, we have included multiple tasks. So, in order to use loop in Ansible, you should use the loop keyword and specify in which items Ansible should loop through. So, for example, in this particular example, this is a simple loop structure, and we use the service module on it, and we loop through the items specified here on a list. In order to use the loop keyword, you should have it in the same indentation as your module. As you can see, the service is on the same indentation as the loop keyword. If you specify this keyword in the same indentation as the enable keywords, you will get an error on Ansible. The second thing that we must mention is that using the loop keyword, in this example, we iterate through the items MariaDB and HTTPD. In order to reference those items, we should use the reserved keyword item on Ansible. As we start with this variable, item keyword is a variable, as we start with this in the start of the argument, we should also encapsulate using the quotes for this variable. This is why I use the quotes and then the variable item. So in order to use loops, you should use the loop keyword, specify the items on which you loop through, and specify the reserved keyword item on the parameter that you want to loop. For example, this particular task will use the service module 2 times, one for the time MariaDB here and one for the time HTTPD. So 2 tasks will be executed. As you can see, we can use the loop keyword using a structure like that by specifying a simple list or by using a variable as shown here on which the list is specified. So in that case, I'm using the packages to install variable, which is specified on the top of the play. And again, in the same way, I specify the item for the yum keyword and the name parameter. So the yum module will be executed 2 times, one for the item MariaDB server and one for the item HTTPD. Let's now run this playbook and verify then functionality. So I'm now running the playbook, and we will see that each task will be run against those 2 machines. So the total number of tasks that will run for each task is 4. As you can see, we have currently 2 machines on our inventory, so the installation of MariaDB server will be performed first for the CentOS box 1 and then for the CentOS box 2. And then through the loop keyword, the next item will be installed, which is the HTTPD for CentOS box 1 and HTTPD for CentOS box 2. Another very important aspect of Ansible keywords are also the conditionals. So we can use conditions as we would use in other programming languages, also in Ansible, to perform some actions based on a condition. In this file, I have included the most used operators of the conditionals on Ansible. So we have the equal signs, which will run against a string, and we have also the equal sign, which will be run against a numeric character. So we have greater than, we have lower than, we have not equal, and we have also the reserved keyword is defined and is not defined, which will be executed against a variable. So if the variable is defined, this task will be executed, and if variable is not defined, will be executed or not based on the logic that you have included. Let's now see some examples using the conditions that are implemented on the implementing conditions playbook. So this playbook again runs against the client's machine, and in this task, in the test variable is defined as we discussed. This particular task will run only when the variable myService, which is specified here, is defined. As you can see, we don't need to encapsulate in the when keyword with the brackets and the quotes, because the when keyword works with variables. So myService can be used without encapsulating or using the brackets. So the value of this myService is when the value of myService is defined, and as you can see, this variable exists, so is defined, this task will run and will go to install myService, which is HTTPD. So this task will go and install using the YAM module HTTPD. This example shows us again a loop task which loops through two items that are specified in one list, but registers the output on the echo results. So as you can see again, you can use the debug module in order to output the result of this variable. In the variable sections of our playbook, here we have specified myBool, which is equal to true, and also we have specified a variable which contains a dictionary that includes Red Hat and CentOS as values. This supported distros variable will be used in a later task. So the run when myBool is true task will run when, as you can see, myBool, the value of myBool is true. So in order to use conditional, the when keyword should be used. As in previous task we saw loop. In order to use conditions, we should use the when keyword, and this keyword should have the same indentation as with the module, as you can see here in the place. So as this value is specified as true in the top of the play, this particular task will run. So as you can see, as we already discussed, we have the in reserved keyword that we can use in order to specify some conditions. So when the Ansible distribution, which is an Ansible reserved keyword, and give us the distribution of the operating system that's currently running on Ansible. So when this is included in the variable supported distros, and as we discussed, no encapsulation or brackets needed in the when keyword, then this task will use the YAM module and run the HTTPD install package. So the state is present, and this will run only if the machine that is running Ansible CentOS box 1 and CentOS box 2 is included in the CentOS or Red Hat distributions. This is correct. As a result, this play will run with a condition specified. We can also see that when we need to use multiple conditions with an AND separator, we can also include them as a dictionary. So this task will run only when the Ansible distribution is CentOS and the Ansible major version is 8. So this will debug the message I'm working on a CentOS, and only when those two options work together and are correct. So this will run in the when we start and run this particular playbook. Lastly, we can combine loop and when keywords, as you can see here, and this task will be executed when this condition is met, will be executed on the YAM module. So this particular keyword will go through the Ansible mounts, so the loop will be done, and when the loop finds that in the root directory is enough space, for example, those bytes, then the YAM module will run and install the latest MariaDB server on the server. So as you can see again, the when and the loop keyword should be at the same annotation as the name of the task and also the module name. So if we try now to execute this playbook, you will see that most of the tasks will run successfully as the conditions are met for them, and the output results will be shown depending on what is specified on this particular task. In some cases, you will see a green result, and in some others, we will see a yellow result. Yellow result is when we have a change state, so something happened, and a green is when something not happened. For example, if we debug some outputs, then we have the green color because nothing changes and it's only an output.